Morning, you lovely people. Welcome to my walk and talk. It's been a little while since I've done one of these, but today I've got a great topic I'm excited to share with you about. If you have stress in your life and you stress more than you would like to, we're going to help you learn how to stress less. So come on in. I'm going live a little bit early because a lot of you were concerned about me from yesterday, and I wanted to give an update on how I'm doing today. Obviously, I'm out here on the walking path, so I'm doing really well, actually. So yesterday, if you did not watch my ice bath video from yesterday, I ended my fast. I've been doing water and salt only for just over 6 days. And at 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, I started blacking out. I started getting really dizzy, and it persisted for like a half an hour. And so I made the decision to end my fast. I had some eggs cooked in butter and some string cheese and just all the things. And so I ended the fast, like I said, at 2 o'clock yesterday, but I didn't start feeling better at all the rest of the day. And so I was supposed to go into the ice bath, since I've been doing that every day at 5 o'clock Eastern, every single day since the beginning of the year. And I just felt horrible. So there was no way I was going to be able to get into a stressor like an ice bath. So I went to sleep. I did my normal sleep pattern where I go to sleep for a few hours, up for a few hours, and then back down for a few more hours. And so this morning I feel great. I got a little bit of a crick in my neck, which I'll deal with a crick in my neck compared to what I had yesterday. that yesterday, whew, that was rough, guys. And I wasn't scared in any way. I knew I needed to listen to my body. So thank you for everyone who honored that and let me respect my body. But I will be back in that ice bath today, I promise. It's a very chilly day here in South Carolina. I think it's like 33 degrees. It's a little bit windy. So we're braving the elements. This is my first time back out on this trail in over a month. So I used to do the walking that I started in the fall with the Stay-Batical to 50, and I was doing that daily. And I continued that on even after the Stay-Batical ended. And then I injured my toes in the ice bath on January 6th. And so I haven't been able to wear a shoe until today. This is the first time that I'm wearing shoes in over a month, or right at a month. A month ago is when I cut my toes open. And so I'm excited. So far, so good. No pain in the right foot. And we're just going to roll with it. But let's get to today's topic, because this is a topic that I think is so needed now more than ever before, with all the events that's happened in the world and in our personal lives. This is what's funny about everything that's happened over the past couple of years. Yes, we've all dealt with all the everything of the past couple of years. But that's just on top of all the other things that we've had in our lives personally. And I told you guys about going through a pretty grueling thing myself for most of the past few years until about 6-7 months ago, that it ended finally. And those things compound, and they give you stress, and they weigh you down. They become overwhelming. You don't know how to handle yourself emotionally. Then it starts coming out in your body physically. It gives you hunger. It gives you tiredness. It makes you angry. Am I hitting anybody yet? I'm sure I am, because when you allow stress to overwhelm you, then guess what? It overwhelms you. And it's in that overwhelm of the stress where we don't handle things well. So the topic we're talking about here today is, if you want to stress less, then you need to become less stressed. Now let this sink in, because that might blow over your head if you just quickly look at it. If you want to stress less, then you need to become less stressed. It seems axiomatic. It seems well duh. But how many of us actually do it? How many of us actually stress less in our lives because we've allowed ourselves to become less stressed. And it's just coinciding today, this message, with the One Step Deeper podcast airing later today. If you want to hear more thoughts on this topic, go over and watch that at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, YouTube, Instagram, in video form, or listen to the audio on Monday. One Step Deeper podcast, episode 54, where we talk about you're responsible for your own suffering. And it kind of hits on this a little bit. So go watch or listen to that. Me and Brittany really hit that one hard. But this idea that a lot of the things we go through in our lives is self-induced is so true. Think about all those things you're stressing about at the moment. Just think of them. You've got them. Some of you have a long ass list, and that's okay. You can have a long list of things you're stressing about. All right, and I want you to later on, when you're done watching this, write those things down. Physically write them down. And I want you to look at them. And when you look at that list, I want you to ask yourself, why do you stress about those things? Why do I stress that the toilet seat was left up by my husband? Why do I stress that the kids can't behave when I ask them to? Why am I stressed when the boss is yelling at me and I don't really know why? Okay? Think about those things, because those are all real life scenarios that happen to a lot of people. And some of your stresses may be more serious than that. I know a friend of mine's on here watching now. She recently had a death in her family. That's a stress, not one that you can control. And those are the kind of ones that, okay, it's out of your control. So you are allowed to feel what you want to feel. But at the end of the day, even that's in your control of how you respond to how you feel. And then there are less serious things to worry about. And every time I think of these less meaningful things to worry about, I always think of the Karen videos. I always think about all those viral videos of, oh, they left a French fry off of my order. I want to speak to your manager. And it's like, wow, look at all that pent up stress and frustration, like all that energy and expenditure of mental energy. Guys, it ain't worth it. If you want to be less stressed in your life, you've got to take that bull by the horns and you got to start actively choosing to stress less. Stress less. And I can tell you, this has not always been easy for Jimmy Moore. I, for many years, was one of those people that got uptight about everything. And when I started doing a lot of the mindset work on myself, when I started dealing with my past trauma, which was a little bit of the genesis of me stressing about things, because that's what I observed. Think about this. You grow up in a household where you observe the adults in your life when you're a kid. You observe the adults in your life stressing about every little thing. Guess what that does to you? That imparts to you that normal is stressing about every little life's thing. And so when you get an adult and you start stressing about every little life's thing, you don't even think twice about it. That's just what you do. And so if it's just what you do and everybody else seems to be doing the same thing, you don't seem abnormal. But we were not meant to carry that kind of stress over little things. And guys, look at that list you make later, and you're going to realize most of the things on that list are little things. Most of the things on that list you could let go right now. And you could embrace all the freedom that comes in your mind and in your body. Let's not pretend like holding on to that stress has no impact at all. I know a lot of my personal weight issues have a lot to do with all the stress that I held on to in my life for many years. And for me, I had to let all that stuff go. And even as I've let it go, I still haven't seen the whole healing in the physical. But think about how many years that mental was building up and building up and building up. Good morning. And so I had to learn, only in recent years, the last 3 years specifically, that was not serving me well in my life. That I needed to choose to become less stressed in order for me to stress less. And that was a revelation, guys. And I just feel like with everything that's happened in the world, all the weirdness that's happened, people gone a little bit loopy in their head. And that's stress that they're not managing well. I'll give you an example. I was out running some errands the other day in my car, and I changed lanes in my car, went into the left lane. It was like a 3-lane highway and then 3 lanes on the other side. I was in the middle lane, and I needed to get into the left part. Well, I look in my mirror and I look behind me. There's a car back there, probably about 7 car lengths back, and I came over into the left lane. Next thing I know, I see this vehicle literally right next to me. He had sped up, gone around me on the left-hand side, and he was within that close to my car, and then he sped in front of me right before the red light. I guess he felt like I dissed him in some way by coming into his lane, but I was just moving into the lane I needed to be in, but he sure did make a big deal about it. That's someone who needs to stress less. That's someone who definitely has allowed the stress to overtake them. And I felt bad for them because they took out their angst on me, but their angst was not at me. It was on something else. Something in their life, everything from the past 2 years, whatever. But it made my heart race a little bit when I saw that, because here's this guy like right next to me. And he totally broke so many laws, what he did, because he passed me in the little middle section, and then he swooped in front of me right before the red light. So people will be people sometimes, won't they? So, but if you just joined in, we are on the walk and talk. Yes, first one in a very long time. And I've had to let my right toes heal from the injury that I did in the ice bath on day 6 of the ice bath. That was exactly 1 month ago today. Today's February 6th, and that happened on January 6th. So they are all healed up. I'm wearing a shoe for the first time in a month, and I feel good today. And those of you that came in late, you might wonder how I'm doing after the fasting and how I felt crappy at the end of the fast yesterday. I'm doing good today, full energy. I already had some more eggs this morning. I've got some beef thawing out in my refrigerator so I can continue to load up on fat and protein. So thank you for everyone who showed concern about me. But today, I have this topic and I would love to get your feedback about it, you guys. If you want to stress less, then you need to become less stressed. Whatever it takes, guys. Meditation, taking a walk like I'm doing right now, exposing yourself to sunshine, grounding, deep breathing exercises, yoga, meditation, ice baths. I know you don't want to hear that, but infrared sauna, exercise. All of these things can help you stress less. And those are all physical things that you can do. But from a mindset standpoint, the best thing you can do is just realize how much of the things that you worry about in your life are actually worth worrying about. I mean, if you've got a sick child in the hospital on the precipice of possibly dying, yes, that's a legitimate worry. That's something to be stressed about. Now, even that you can mitigate and manage the best that you can, but it's not anything that anybody would fault you for. But they didn't have your flavor of cheese that you like at the grocery store, and you stress out about that. That's not worth stressing out about. Sorry, not sorry. Don't be a spoiled stressor. Ooh, I'm gonna step on a lot of toes here. If you are stressed about things that you are spoiled by, that you expect, and you stress about those things, sorry. I won't cry for you, Argentina, on that one. Nope. That's self-induced stress at that point. Got no sympathy for you. Because it's not important. And when you learn to let go of those things that are just less important, man, watch how your life changes. Watch how you feel. Watch how you physically change. Yes, the mental part is obvious. You may not even realize the physical part. And how much tension that you kind of hold in your shoulders and your neck, how that kind of dissipates when you let that go. Stress less to become less stressed. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. I'm going to scroll right back to the top. Welcome. Again, we're back with the walk and talks. I'm not going to do these every day. When I was doing the Stay-Batical to 50, I was going live almost every day out here on the walking trail. I will start walking every day again, but I will not be going live every day. Just because I'm doing a lot of things right now between the ice baths and all the podcasts that I'm doing. It's a bit of a logistical nightmare for me to have to do these every day. I could physically come up with content, but I want to show up my best in all the areas that I come into. And so thank you for letting me do these maybe once or twice a week. I will try to squeeze in once or twice a week with these. So, good morning, Sharon. Hello, Cherish. Some of my usual suspects are here. Angela says, good morning. Hello. Looks beautiful there. Yeah, today is a gorgeous sunshiny day, big blue skies. I love it. And of course it's wintertime, so a lot of the greenery of the trees are gone, but it's nice. And Sunday mornings it's usually pretty solemn. Yeah, you're hearing a little bit of traffic along the road, but it can be a lot more quiet on Sundays. And then hardly anybody's out on the trail. It's 33 degrees, so a lot of people don't walk in this weather. And Jimmy Moore's in sorting t-shirts. Go Jimmy, says bulletproof coconut. And he gave me a few egg emojis. Yes, I had a nice breakfast. I had 8 eggs from my backyard chickens, cooked in grass-fed butter. And yeah, they were really good. Trying to nourish myself well after this fast. I fasted for 147 hours. And so I want to make sure I'm replenishing all those fats and proteins in my body. My goal right now, guys, is to pretty much eat normally for the entirety of the rest of this week coming up. And maybe starting again the next week, do another fast. So if I do that, I'll let you know, because I would love for you to join in if you want to join in. But yeah, I did really, really well on that fast. Hope you're feeling better. I am. I hope it's obvious watching me today how much better I feel, because I felt like crap yesterday when I was supposed to be in the ice bath. I'm like, guys, there's no way I can get into an ice bath. It ain't happening. So Sharon says, hugs back to you, sweetie. Vicky wants to know if I lost any weight. Honestly, Vicky, on the fast, I'm assuming is what you're referring to. Honestly, I didn't weigh. I don't care, to be honest. It will be obvious if I'm losing weight. It will be obvious. But weight loss is not my goal. If I happen to lose some belly fat, cool. If I happen to have a lot of things happen. Cool. But I don't put parameters on it. See, that's what the diet world teaches us that we have to do. Oh, you've got to know your numbers, Jimmy. You got to know how much weight you've lost. You've got to know what your blood sugar's doing. You got to know what your ketones are doing. You gotta. And no. Diet culture can go suck it. For me, if you're doing healthy habits, it will become self-evident over time that those habits are producing results. Now, what is results? Is it just weight loss? Is it health gains? Is it feeling great in your own skin? I think it's all of those things. And so, I don't know is the answer to your question. Did I lose any weight? Subjectively, just looking at me, I don't see it, but I didn't eat for 6 days. So it's obvious I probably dropped some weight. And now that I'm eating again, I'm going to gain back at least a portion of that weight. But that's not what it's about. Fasting is not about weight loss. I really hate that people look at it in that way. Oh, you're going to lose weight if you don't eat any food. Well, you know shit, Sherlock. Of course. But you'll lose weight, but then everybody's like, well, you gained it all back. Well, you don't gain it all back, especially if you implement good nutrition when you start eating again. If you implement a little bit of intermittent fasting or alternate day fasting, after doing a long fast, you can keep those benefits going. So while you might have lost in a week 10 pounds, you'll gain back 7 or 8. That's still a cumulative weight loss. And then if you add on top of that eating well and doing intermittent fasting after that long fast, you can keep those benefits going and start keeping the ball rolling on losing weight even more. But none of that matters to me. I'm doing all the things that Jimmy needs. And from a mental standpoint, that helps me. Everybody's like, oh, track. And I'm like, guys, I did that for years. I was tracking, doing N=1 experiments back in 2008. I'm like one of the OGs of doing N=1 testing, where I did all these experiments. Now you see all these people out there. Oh, I'm experimenting. Look how new this is. Yeah, hold my beer. Not new at all. I was doing that a decade and a half ago. So at this point in my journey, I'm much more confident and comfortable with just doing the thing. Because if I do the thing and not have to stress about it, getting back to today's topic, not have to stress about it, then I'm more likely to be successful at it. Does that piss some people off because they want to know exactly what the numbers are? All right, yeah. But that's not my problem. Not my problem at all. But so all the ice baths, Vicky, and all the continued fasting and the other things I'll be doing this year, hopefully will move that needle. But it's not about weight loss for me. It'll be obvious. And maybe you already noticed, and some people have even said that they can see it in my face a little bit from the fasting. Let's just say I felt subjectively very good during the fast. And you can't really put a price on that. Cherish says, I missed your walk and talk so much, I'm jumping on my treadmill to virtually tag along. Well, Cherish, welcome. I have missed doing these. Like, I enjoy the casualness of just walking along this trail near my house and talking to you guys. This really was my favorite part of the sabbatical in the fall, was walking and then just getting to commiserate with you guys. It's a comfortable format for me. Of course, having many years of podcasting, I know how to talk on camera, so that helps a lot. But thank you. I missed you guys a lot as well. Bulletproof says stress will affect your immune system, which hasn't been mentioned once during the pandemic. Where are the stress relief guidelines? Yeah, and then they add all this stress on top of the stress people were dealing with. And then they wonder why people's immune systems aren't responding well to this black plague that's out there. And so you're right. They should have been giving us tips on nutrition and exercise and supplementation and, yes, stress management. All of it matters. And all those ice baths I've been doing, by the way, you guys, one of the best ways to relieve stress and to relieve a lot of the concerns you may have if you were to get this black plague, because it does boost your immunity. It's going on 2 years into this thing, and I still haven't gotten it. I posted a meme the other day with George Costanza from Seinfeld, and it was like, we're 2 years into a pandemic, and even the black plague doesn't want me. And it was like showing him all sad. I thought that was funny. Stress is a silent killer. It sure is. Prod Queen is here. She says, go Jimmy, go. Hello. Bulletproof says, I can imagine the cold plunges will help with stress. Yep, they sure do. They literally strengthen and grow your mitochondria. They do. Which is why I was a little bit upset yesterday I couldn't do it, because I know the benefits. But one day off is not going to deter me. I will be back at it at 5 p.m. today. Yay, I caught a live. Welcome, Denise. I'm glad you're here. Linda said, so awesome to be on a walk and talk outside on my deck again. Yes. I really did miss you guys. And when I injured my toes, I went, no, because I knew I wouldn't be able to walk on those toes until they healed. It would not have been smart for me. They were cut pretty deep, especially on my second toe on my right foot. And they were red all the way to the upper part of my foot. I mean, like beet red. It was just really ugly looking, all that inflammation. But the body is phenomenal at healing itself. And 1 month later, here I am walking on it again, and we are walking and talking again. Bulletproof says, I used to be stressed by the little things. I later faced the really big stressors and realized how all the little things were nothing. Yes. And maybe that's what happened for me, Bulletproof, was I started dealing with really big stressors in my life, like really big ones. And I realized how much of my life was so bored that I had to make up shit to be stressed about. And I want you guys to think really hard about that in your own life. How much of the things you stress about are things you made up to stress about because you were freaking bored in your life? God, it just like, it'll eat at you when you start thinking about those things. Oh my God, why did I ever worry about that? The funniest ones are where you like worry about something that happened on a TV show. Or you could worry about your mailbox getting hammered off of. I didn't know they did that anymore, but somebody apparently went by and hammered that right off the mailbox there. They're going to wake up to stress in their lives. But yeah, people worry about things that happen on TV shows. I'm like, oh no, Donnie didn't go with Jenny, and oh no. I'm just like, really? That's how you're living your life? Really? Yeah. So, yeah, going through the big things, you're right, will put everything in proper context and make you realize how much of your life you worry about things that really don't matter. How am I feeling, says Parkman? I'm feeling great, thank you. Carnivore Wisdom says, thanks for all you do, thank you. Cherish says, walking while working helps me manage a very stressful job. Yeah. Look, I mean, I don't have a stressful job. I get to podcast. I get to interact online. I mean, I have things that could stress me if I wanted them to. People say ugly things to me online. Just the weight of all the work that I do, trying to get it done. I'm in the midst of, or have been in the midst of the last few months, writing a book and finishing that up, and all the tediousness towards the end. It's not really stressful. It's just stuff that needs to get done. And so a little bit of the being on the time constraints of getting things done can, I guess, weigh you down a little bit. But my job in general is very not stressful. Whereas other people have highly stressful jobs because of coworkers, because of the work itself, because of an overbearing boss, because of the demands that you get a hokey pokey and you don't want one. I mean, all those things are stressful. And so I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful that I don't have all that to deal with. So, and I'm glad walking helps you with that, Cherish. Bulletproof says that guy in the car has really big issues. Yeah. Like I said, when it was happening, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm about to be in a wreck with someone who's got unmanaged stress in their life. I don't know what would have happened had he hit me. Obviously, we would have had to pull over and the cops would have came, but he would have been the one in trouble. He'd have been screwed if I also was stressed to the point of snapping and I reared my steering wheel over into him. He would have been the one at fault because he was out of lane. But no, I don't need that stress in my life. I would never have done that. Parkman says, what if you want to stress more? Well, if you want to stress more, brother, you go right ahead. And I'll let you die an early death, and I'll see you in about 50 years. I don't mean to be morbid, but I know you're being funny, but stressing more is definitely not the goal. Turn it around, guys. Seriously, though, I've had to try not to let people disrupt my peace. It's just not worth it. It's never worth it. And like I said, this is a lesson that took me a long time in life to figure out. That's why I wanted to present it here to you guys today on the Walk and Talk is, if you want to stress less, you need to become less stressed, because so much of this is of our own making. And again, go listen to the One Step Deeper podcast, episode 54. It's going to debut on video on YouTube and Instagram at 4 p.m. Eastern time today. And then, of course, it'll air on the podcast tomorrow, wherever you listen to podcasts. And we talk about suffering and pain and how so much of that is of our own making. And we need to differentiate about the things that we can control and the things we can't control. And stress is the same way. You can control the stresses in your life by controlling how you react to them. You may not be able to control that things happen to you. That thing that happened to me for most of the past 2.5-ish years, that was out of my control. It was happening. And it was a big thing. And it was a highly stressful situation with new stresses pretty much on the constant. Financial stresses, emotional stresses, just compounding one on top of another on top of another. And in the midst of all that, I didn't do so well. I attempted to help myself, and every time I did, I would get more despondent. But in hindsight, I'm really glad that big thing happened, because I knew what it felt like to be going through a genuinely stressful situation. And when you recognize something that's genuinely stressful, it really makes you let go of all those things that are just made up stressful. Stop feeling the pain of made up stress. It's not serving you well in your life. And yet so many people, they do. They go through life with all that made up stress. And all you have to do is ask yourself, why? To what end? What purpose does it serve? What good is it doing you in your life, physically, mentally? And I would argue none. None at all. Jared wants to know, are you cold? Or does it feel like a nice spring day? Well, Jared, considering I get into 32-degree ice baths for 5 minutes every single day, and considering I have walked this trail when it's been as cold as 23 degrees, in shorts and t-shirt like I am now, I'm very well adjusted to cold. And so it's probably mid-30s by now out here and very sunshiny. So I guess the sunshine does provide a little sense of warmth. There's a guy weed eating over here and leaf blowing. Hey dude, you know it's the dead of winter, right? But no, it does not feel like spring. But I like the cold. I'm very acclimated to cold. And so I enjoy this. And plus, this gives me a little bit of bonus cold thermogenesis. People often ask, with all the ice baths I've been doing, do I have to put my body in ice? I'm like, no. You could do a cold shower or just get out during the wintertime when it's cold with as few clothes as you can possibly wear and take a walk. And that gives you some cold thermogenesis as well. Not quite like you get in the ice bath, but it's cold. But I don't feel cold, if that's what you're asking. I'm highly acclimated to cooler temperatures at this point. I guess it would have to be in the low to mid-teens where I would start feeling the bite of the cold. Because 23, I was out here, I was in short and t-shirt, and I was noticeably cold. I could really feel it, but it wasn't uncomfortable that, oh my gosh, I gotta warm myself up quickly. No, I got back, I sat down for about 5 minutes, and my whole body was hot at the end of that walk. And of course, when you're walking, you're exercising, so you're also lifting the temperature of your body internally while you're walking. So I'm over halfway through in this walk, and while it's mid-30s out here, I'm pretty comfortable. Partly because my body's warm internally. Plus I got that nice sunshine hitting me. Yeah, so it's perfect for me. I love this weather. I loathe tracking, says Melt That Snow. Yes. Look, I feel like the people that track when they first start is a good thing. But that's it. Track when you first start, but then after a while, you'll know, even subjectively, how you feel when you get certain numbers. And you'll know how you feel when you get certain other numbers. That you get to the point that you don't have to test the numbers to know where you are in your journey. And that's where I'm at. I mean, I've been testing all kinds of things for 15 plus years. And I've done so much in that arena, I kind of know how I'm doing. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? And so, yeah, you can obsess about it, which a lot of people do, or you can just do the thing and watch the results come. Kira says, it's so funny. I've been trying to gain weight, and that has been stressful to me. I keep losing. I got up to 140.7 pounds. Today, back down to 134.5. Trying to be heavier for jiu-jitsu. Ugh. Kira, there are a lot of people that hate you right now. Because there are people who are struggling to lose a half a pound. And if you drop, 7 pounds, that quickly, they hate you right now. But I feel you. I hear you. The only advice I can give you about gaining weight without tilting your health is just eat more. Eat a lot more. And maybe you're eating a lot now, but whatever you're eating now, just bump it up 20-25% in volume. You may have to blow by satiety a little bit to do that. But I'd be shocked if you didn't gain weight doing that. Melt That Snow says, you're so funny. I try to be funny. Look, life is too short to just be straight-laced and serious all the time. And that's one of the things that helps me stress less, is if I can crack a joke and then I see that I make someone else smile and someone else laugh, that relieves stress in their life. That's what I do. And I love it. I love doing that. Leah says, I can see it in your face. Thank you. Yeah, I subjectively know I've done well. And, how could I not? I've been doing those daily ice baths. I fasted for 6+ days it all adds up. And I've got lots more planned for the remainder of the year. This is my year, you guys. Not to lose weight, not to do anything more than just prove to myself that I'm capable of the hard things. And I'm doing them. And when you do hard things, it makes you want to go do other hard things. And then you do that hard thing and you do more hard things. And before long, everything that you thought was stressful in your life because it was too hard, ain't nothing too hard. And when you get to that point in your life that nothing is too hard for you, can't put a price on that. Melt That Snow says health gains all day, every day. That's what it's about for me. And I feel good. You can't put a price on that either. Cherish says, when I think about it, when I stress about work, it's silly. Because if I die, my company would not give a crap. And they would post my job opening tomorrow. Yeah. When you put it in the perspective of, does this thing even matter? That is a great question for anything you stress about. Does this thing even matter? And the answer to some of those is going to be yes. So then if it's no, then let it go. But if it's yes, then is my reaction to this thing commensurate with the level of stress that I'm giving it? That's a hard question for you, and it's very subjective too. So maybe something bad did happen, but is your reaction to that bad super duper dippity bad, or is it, okay, it's bad? Because we're all going to deal with stresses that are outside of our control. But even within that, you can determine the degree by which you stress about that thing. All of this is about stressing less. And you got to make yourself less stressed. You've got to be deliberate about it. You can't mamby-pamby this. You can't say, well, this happened, so I'm allowed to make an ass of myself. No, you're never allowed to make an ass of yourself. Yes, there are situations where you want to be very stressed. I'm just asking you, take pause in those moments and decide how stressed you want to be, if at all. And again, this is with the big things I'm talking about. All the little things, you let that shit go. You got to let those things go. And I would argue probably the vast majority, 80, 90% of what we stress about are things you could let go right now. Write that list, guys. Get you a pen and paper. And you're about to hate Jimmy more, but I'm telling you truth. Write down all the things you're worried about, all the things you're stressed about. And I want you to ask yourself, how many of those things do I need to actually be stressing about? Not many for most of us. Hello, Miss Hockey. Good morning. Kira says, my stress can actually be other people's dream goals. We have to remember that. Yes. Gradation of stress is so important. Somebody who makes $10,000 a year is barely surviving on government benefits, and the price of food goes up like it has been with inflation, price of gasoline, their heating costs, everything has gone up. That's a stress that I don't know and won't know. But I know a lot of people in that situation who even that doesn't stress them. They just go get them a bunch of blankets from the shelter or from Salvation Army or something. They go get a bunch of blankets and they just bundle up and they start singing and they have family time and they make it something beautiful. So again, even the situations where it's obvious where you should and could have stress and nobody would blame you, even at that point, you still have a choice. You still have a decision to make about whether you're going to make that stressful or not. Gabby says, I want a job like yours. Yes, I know. I'm very blessed. I get to talk for a living, write for a living, be silly on camera, making reels for a living, writing books. I get it. I know how charmed I am in my life, and I try to remind myself of that often. But I worked my butt off to get here to Gabby, so it wasn't like I didn't sacrifice and have stressful moments to get to here. But yes, you're right. I know you want this job just as much as I do. Parkman says, have you ever broken your own health rules when you were stressed out? If so, how did you get back on track? Great question, Parkman. Absolutely. I see my friend Brittany's on here now. She'll tell you, I admitted to her when I was in the midst of that 2-year period where I was so overwhelmed with stress, I would go to the store, at the grocery store, and I would walk down the junk food aisle and I would look at it. That's all I would do at first. I just walk down. Now, why am I on that aisle? I haven't eaten that crap in years, but suddenly I'm going through a stressful time that was overwhelming me. And my first inclination is, let's see what's down this aisle. And one day I did grab one of those things, and I got home and I had a moment where I had one of those things. And I'm not proud of it, but it was definitely a breaking point for me, to your point. And so how did I get back on it? I realized what it was, and I started managing the stress a little better. Like this is the rule, you guys. Maybe you hear this message today and it doesn't all the way fix your stress and how you react to it. That's okay. It's a process. You're going to stumble. You're going to break some rules along the way. But it's not about the here and now. It's about the long term for you. Can you learn to stress less so you can become less stress in your life? That's the goal. And you're going to have flub ups along the way. Those are not failures. Those are a part of the process of healing. And you grow from it. And that's what I did. Kira says, do you feel it's harder to sweat in the sauna now that you've done the ice bath? Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't sweat very much. I have to be in the sauna about 20 minutes before I start to feel sweat now, which is odd because you would think if you're acclimated to cold that would make you more susceptible to sweating, but it doesn't. So that's a good observation, Kira. I don't sweat as much, and especially if I got right out of the cold bath right into the sauna, I don't know how long it would take before I would start sweating. I do plan on doing that, by the way, at some point, where I go back and forth between the ice bath and the sauna, maybe like a minute or two in the ice bath and then 5 to 10 minutes of the sauna and back to the ice bath and back to the sauna. Some people have even said do it with the hot tub, since I got one of those. Go back and forth between the cold and the hot tub. I do want to do that. I want to feel what that feels like. That'd be a lot of fun. Do you lift any weights or do any body weight exercises, says Jarrett. So currently no, but that is one of the things that I will be adding in. Like I said, I injured my toe a month ago, and I haven't been able to do anything with a shoe on until today. Today's the first time. So my goal is to get back out there, flipping the tire that I have. I got to find them, but I do have some kettlebells that I could swing. But yes, the goal is to work on that aspect of my health as well. Melt That Snow says, I love it. Feast, friends, feast. Yes. When you're done with a fast, feast up. Don't hold back. Hold my beer comment, even if a bad confident. Yes. A tad confident. Yes. Hold my beer. I have been doing this a long time. This is such a great topic, says BLK. Thanks for being here. Love this. Leslie says, looking forward to your new book. How did you and Brittany meet? Oh, great question. So we talk about that in the introduction of the book, but Brittany and I met on Instagram, actually. So those of you that don't know, Brittany Davis is my best friend. I think she's on here right now. Say hi, everyone, to Brittany. And she posted on her stories that she was reading this book called The Complete Guide to Fasting by this guy, Jimmy Moore, and she tags me. And so when I get tagged, I usually repost it, and then I will reach out to that person and I'll say something along the lines of, there was traffic, so something along the lines of, hey, if I can help you in any way with your fasting or your keto, let me know. So I wrote that to her, and she wrote back, yeah, I've actually got a few questions. I'm like, okay, why don't you give me a call? And I do that a lot as well, where I'll say, hey, let's chat on the phone. It's just easier for me to do it that way than typing out these long, drawn-out answers. That just takes up so much time. I can tell you in 5 minutes what it would take me 30 minutes to type out. So it's easier for me. So we got on the phone and we chit-chatted about keto and fasting for 15 or so minutes. And then we just started talking about who she was and the things she's been through, and started talking about her childhood trauma. And I'm like, holy crap, I had childhood trauma. We started talking about that, and we just bonded. And we've been friends ever since. So we started our podcast December, not last year, but a year and a half ago. And now we're writing a book. I have lots of books and lots of other business ideas planned. So, yeah, that's how it happened. Happy Sunday to you, Carnivore Private Eye. There's Brittany. I knew I saw you sneak in. Brittany will sometimes come in here and chime in, but I know she's hanging out with her kid today. So she's being present with her kid while she's watching this video. So thank you, Alma Grace, for sharing, Mommy. All right, guys. So today's walk and talk hopefully encouraged you to become less stressed by stressing less. Sounds so easy, right? Sounds so easy a caveman can do it. As the old commercial. You have to be a certain age to know what that reference means. Oh, all the girls are watching, says Brittany. Hello, Cammie. I'm going to get in trouble saying all their names. Hello, girls. Thank you for watching. Yeah, so don't stress in your life ever. And love on your mommy. Revere your mommy. She's the greatest thing that's ever happened to you in your life. You will never have another woman as glorious as that woman in your life right now. And that's no joke, actually. You look great. You're making it happen. Thank you, Carnivore Private Eye. Linda says, I loved this so much. Thank you for this. It was a great topic, too. Awesome. Sorry, I heard a dog bark and I had to look. So, yes. All right, so let me pop off here for now. Thank you so much for watching. That dog, he's got that deep roar that scares the shit out of me. So I have to look. Always look. But thanks for watching. Stress less. Stress less if you want to become less stressed. I hope you enjoyed this today. I will let you know if you watch my Instagram stories. I will share when I do a walk and talk the day before, and I'll give you the topic I'll talk about and the time and all the everything so you can be here. But I'm glad we were able to commiserate here on this Sunday. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back again very soon. Well, I'll definitely be back in a few hours with the ice bath. So watch me wiggle my butt into a big thing of ice again. And until then, we'll see you then.